Wild scooter parts, and I wanted to give you some tips on how to troubleshoot your Razor scooter. Here we have an E100. It's actually, believe it or not, the most complicated of all the Razor scooters because it has a couple of unique features. The first thing you're probably going to want to check, probably the thing that actually goes bad the most, we get a lot of customers that have a very old Razor scooter they might have just picked up at like a flea market or Craigslist or something. The batteries. The batteries are usually the first thing to go bad. The best way to check the batteries is if you happen to have a multimeter or voltmeter, as I do. Now, most of the Razors are 26 volts, so you should get, well, they're 24 volts. You should get 26 volts about out of it. And what you want to do, you actually want to check the battery voltage at the connection. This will tell you maybe if there's a loose connection if you don't have any voltage here. So you're going to put your black probe in the black and your red in the red. Now, as you can see here, this is running a little bit low for a fully charged scooter at 23.6. So the problem with, in particular with this E100, it has a feature known as low voltage cutoff. And when the voltage gets too low, it will actually not work. It won't turn off, it won't even click the relay. These controllers have a little relay in them that you should hear click when you turn the throttle. Now, the battery still has enough to light up that little light, then your light will turn on, but when I turn this throttle, as you can see, no click, or as you can hear, it's not clicking. That should actually make a click when I do that. So, these batteries are bad, most likely. Another way you can check that, you can go back to your multimeter, and you can check each battery individually by doing this, putting the red on the red and the black on the black. This one has 13. This battery is probably still good. This one, however, as you can see there, 4 volts. This battery is completely shot. So, we're going to turn this back off. We're going to replace these batteries real quick. I've already got the new ones ready to go.
We should probably add if you need a meter, an inexpensive multimeter. You can order it right from our site, wildscooterparts.com. I think they're about $10. It's easy. We'll send it to you right away, and then you could diagnose your problem. You could use it for a heck of a lot of other things around your house, and a good inexpensive thing to have for diagnosing your scooter. Without it, it's almost impossible.
So we're putting the new batteries in, and we're going to just check the voltage once again to see what it should show you what it should look like if your batteries are good. 25.8 volts, very close to 26, like I said. That's where you should be at with your batteries fully charged and good batteries.
Now, James, when will it stop working and not click? At what voltage will it?
Will it stop clicking?
Correct.
It's right around the 23. Anything below 23, and it probably won't.
So if you have less than 23 and you don't hear a click, most likely the batteries.
Speaking of that click, we're going to turn it back on, and now listen to it. Zoom in so you can hear it. Hear that click? But you ask, why isn't it going? Why is my wheel not turning? Well, that's another one of the things about the E100. The E100 has a feature where it will not turn unless the scooter's moving, unless you kickstart it. There's a very easy way if you're just trying to put stuff together to actually test this, though. What you can do is you can hold down this throttle, and with the wheel off the ground, take your hand and spin the wheel. And what's going to happen is that's going to kind of simulate you kicking off with the scooter, and then it's going to start to go. So watch. As you can see, it works.
Now try it without kicking off. Just hit the throttle.
All you get is the click.
And that's where people get into trouble. Yeah.
A little bit won't do it. That'll do it.
So it takes a real good spin on the tire to get it moving.
Yeah. There's one other thing I want to show you that's just about the E100. Most normal electric scooters, the brake is a switch that when you squeeze the brake, it closes the switch. The E100 works backwards. When you do this, when you squeeze the brake, it's actually opening the switch. So what that means is that if your brake becomes disconnected if there's a bad connection in here, it's actually not going to work.
And those are the wires from the brake you're showing.
Yeah.
So you just disconnected. Okay.
Watch this. It'll still make the click.
Let's try to spin it up.
But if I spin it, nothing. So it could also be your brake switch. If you have a bad connection in there, and it's basically doing this, it's not making a connection.
Can you show them how to test that, James?
Again, if you have a multimeter, there is a good way to test that real quick. You can put it on your ohm setting. Now, your ohm setting, what you should get, it should go from, you should put it one side on the one pin and one side on the other pin, and there. You should have 0 ohms. It should be connected.
And then when
you squeeze it, it goes back to open.
So you should see, even if we just tell them, they should see a change. I don't think any switch will reverse itself.
When you're not squeezing it, it should be 0 like this.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be open loop like that.
But you could also put a paper clip in the other side and bypass it.
Oh, let me just show that. I might as well. Paperclip tool, and the connector coming out of the controller with the 2 yellow wires is the one the brake switch connects to. You're just going to use that paperclip to make a connection between those 2 metal terminals. And now, if we turn the throttle and spin the wheel, it works. If it didn't work before, and now it works, then it's likely a faulty brake lever. So to summarize, I think we've covered most of the main troubleshooting points, not just for the E100, but actually for any Razor scooter. The first thing to check is the batteries. Especially with this scooter, it has a low voltage cutoff at 23 volts. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got 24 or more voltage. You can easily tell a lot of times in the case of this, one of them will be bad. It'll have a really extremely low voltage. You should never see a single battery with less than 10 volts. The second point is that on the E100 specifically, you have to spin the wheel. It's not going to spin on its own by turning the throttle. And the third point is the brake switch that we went over. That has to be connected, and that has to be good. It has to be making the connection all the way. And that's it.
So if they need any parts,
Come to wildscooterparts.com.
There you go.